Guys and gals, thank you for clicking the video. Today we're going to be building Hearthstone pillows. This is the small version, the prototype version. Of course, here's the old papa, the big one. The perfect one that you're going to be laying your head on every night, dreaming of home, because home is where the hearth is. This is, if you're not familiar with this is a stone that is given to you in the early stages of World of Warcraft as you're leveling your character. This is where you can bind your home to, so when you're done adventuring, before you log out for the night, you can take your character right back to his wonderful home of choosing. So what we're going to be doing is easy. What we have here is the two styles of fleece you're going to need. Right there. You're going to need your gray and you're going to need your blue. Or pink. You can go pink Hearthstone. It's not actually game equivalent, but it's your build. You can do whatever color you want. You can go green if you wanted to. But there's your two colors of fleece. Make sure it's fleece and make sure it's a good thick fleece. You don't want the one-sided fleece that's kind of lame that you would use to sandwich in between something else. You want the real good stuff. So poke around, ask if you have to, and of course come out of there with the right stuff. You don't want to get home and realize you've made a terrible decision. I've done it before. You're also going to need polyfill. Now polyfill is just, like it says, it fills up things. It's a polyester. Is it polyester? Yeah, polyester type filling. That's exactly what it is. And you just stuff that in your pillow and or stuffed animals that you're making. You can buy smaller bags. I bought a larger bag because I intend to make a few, maybe some gifts, and maybe sell a few on the Etsy shop I have, and or eBay, or just if you want to message me, because I need to make some loot for BlizzCon. But I figured I'd show you how to do it. That way, if you didn't have the loot and you had a little bit more time, you can make one yourself. Alright, you're also going to need wonderful pins. Make sure you got a bunch of them, or just enough to go around the outside, because you want to hold it in place. You'll see what I mean when I start to do the old sewing. You're going to need a sewing machine and or a needle and thread. And you're going to have thread anyway. Make sure they're matching threads, because you're going to have to match the best you can, especially with the blue, because the blue, like you see here, it's got a little lip, and you're going to have to make sure the fabric that's holding it, or the thread that's holding it down, is going to be the right color. You're also going to need paper and or cardboard. I just got some old junky cardboard to cut the designs in. You see, that's the design there, and there's that. And you're going to need a good pair of scissors and a fabric marking tool or instrument. I just use a pencil because we're using a light fabric, so we don't have to really go heavy duty. And like I said, dedicated scissors. I said this earlier, but of course that's probably not in this take. But these fabric scissors cut clean, and I don't use them on paper or anything else, because they'll dull them up. You want them nice and sharp. Well, other than that, as long as I've figured out everything, all you need now is your wits about you. Let's start cutting out some fabric. Alright, and all we're doing now is we're laying the pattern down on the fabric. Make sure to not draw your lines too dark, just dark enough to where you can see where you're cutting. And of course you flip your pattern, that way your lines are going to be on the opposite side. You don't want people to see the lines, especially if you're using something like a Sharpie. I would highly suggest you use a pencil. If you go into the fabric store, you'll see that they have different types of fabric marking instruments that are a little bit expensive for my taste, especially me being on a budget. So you choose and decide what you want to do, but a pencil works fine right here. We've cut out our little doodle. Cut it out a little bit bigger. If you cut it out a little bit bigger, the way we're going to sew it on there, we'll be able to trim the excess off up into a certain point. So make sure you cut it right and you've got it in the right. You got a little bit of leeway going if you just need to. Now over here, all we did was lay the cardboard down. You missed that part because I didn't hit the record button, but all we did was cut two identical shapes. I pencil marked the top one, and of course the bottom one I just kind of pinched them together as I cut. They were already overlapped, so it was fairly easy. So all we're going to do now is take one. You're going to figure out, see, if you're going to sandwich it and sew down this angle and then flip it inside out and stuff it. But what we're going to do is first, to make it easy, we're going to take this piece, flip it over like this, and we're going to sew our design in the middle. You see what I'm working on here? Just taking the pin. You don't want to pin in too many places, just kind of go in like that, like in the middle, and just run a pin through it, just like that. You see that? Stuff on it. And there you go. It's just right there like that. We're going to try to start at an angle, or an edge. Feed it up through there like that. Make sure to back stitch. Back stitching is very important. Got your foot on your pedal. Make sure you get your hand under it. You lift it up here. And of course you're going to pull it to a point where you can get in here. You just lay it down. Make sure you're hanging on the edge. Use your feet to help guide you. And hit that, back it up, back stitch. Then Hobbs, well, Hobbs is going to call you on Skype, and you're going to have to ignore him for the moment while you sew this in here. Make sure your needles don't get in the way. Just slowly but surely. Like, this is not necessarily science. And this one. Now, if you're doing something that requires a lot of hard effort, like in intricate turns and perfect cutting and sewing together, then you may need to be a little bit more careful. But as you can see, I'm just trying to keep right here on the foot on the edge of the blue, which is giving me just enough allowance to where I'm not running off the edge of the blue. As you see, I'm coming to a needle, so I'm just pulling the needle out just enough where it won't obstruct the foot and the sewing head. You got the needle down through both of the pieces. If you see here, like I could twist this and raise it up, but I don't want to. I just want to lift the foot for a moment and twist the fabric while the needle is still in there. The needle's still in there. You've not lost your place in the fabric, but you've just repositioned it so you don't have to really do a lot of hard bending. Because if you lift it up with the needle not up, you're going to have to probably hold the button and backstitch just a fuzz, just so you meet the stitches together. I'm barely putting my foot on here, because if I was to really cram down on my foot right now, it would spin like crazy. I mean, you could sew a piece of fabric together like grrr. It really is a heavy duty. This is definitely not a starter piece. Now, I will just go ahead and twist it down in there in the tip. You see it really down deep in the machine. Lift the foot up, and then we just twist the whole fabric. Apologies if the sewing machine is loud. I'm going at a medium pace here. I'm not gunning down crazy. Pull the needle through like that. Take it up. Turn it sideways for the final little stitch there. It's a little lumptastic, but that's good. We want it to be not as flat like that. But you got this. You got your situation here, like that. We've had a little bit, we let it, we didn't pin it down enough probably. Well, you know, I like it. I like that. We're going to see what happens after we trim it. But we're going to wait to trim it after we get done sticking it together. Now this point, you want to lay us down here. You want to sandwich the design on the interior. The interior of the piece. Just, as you see, sandwiched on the inside. We've got it like it's a rock, so keep that in mind. You want the oblong shape. Now all it takes, we're going to take it over here and we'll sew it up. Now make sure at this point you leave a little hole. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Because you're going to hand sew the last little rung. I'll show you how to do that. Alright, now at this point, we're just cutting these little excess off here. We're going to trim the edges. Let me see. Trimming the edges, we're pulling out all of the needles, the pins I should say. We're going to trim the seam. We're going to turn it inside out. But as you can see, you got a little pocket here that we did not, and that's going to be our filling pocket. And that's what we're going to turn it inside out. But for the time being, we're going to cut this excess off. Now make sure not to cut. This is pretty simple, but don't cut on the other side. We're just cutting this lip off, so that way when we flip it over, that seam nice and sits pretty. Just simply easy. Don't cut too close. You'll leave enough to where you're not going to pull your stitch out, because you're going to be sleeping on this, drooling on it. You know, you may break out into a pillow fight or something. You don't want to break it, you know, or it's just going to be decoration. And there's that. Now let's turn it inside out. It's easy to turn it inside out. You can have you such a stick of some sort, but you take your end here. You open her up and you reach your thumb down in there. Just push it up and pull it tight, and then you go, whoop. And there it is. That's the makings of you. You're pilling it. It won't look like much until you start stuffing it full of junk, which is what we're about to do. Now the bigger the hole, the easier it's going to be to kind of fill. Or quicker it is, that I should say. But you don't want a big hole, because you like your machine stitch to be most of it, because you don't want to have to close the gap and hold it tight while you sew it with your bare hands. You got to put a lot in there. You don't have to, but I do. You want it to be fluffy and you want it to be kind of pushed out because you don't want no wrinkles in it. You want it to look as packed full as you can. We got the bad boy stuff. Now what we're going to do is we got our needle. Whoop. We've threaded it. As you did, you run the string through it. It's easy to thread a needle. You take that. Let me see if you can see this. You take it. I like to twist it a bit, wrap it around my finger about 3 times, and then as I'm roll it, and then pull a knot in it. That's exactly what I do. You got your little knot. You're going to hide that knot, but it's big enough to where you can put it on the inside, but it's big enough to where it's not going to pull through this fabric. Now what we got here. Let me get in close. Stick it in there for a minute. Don't lose sight of it. You might poke your tit, and you got you a nipple piercing and a Hearthstone pillow. You're going to fold in this excess, and you're going to make like a little. Fold it in. Make sure your stuffing's in there. You might have to push your stuffing way down and leave you a lot of. You don't want a lot of tension at the moment. Now you're going to try to catch the stitch you did on the machine. What we're going to do is we're going to go in it though here, up under it like that. You see we're going to go in the hole, the gap we're going to close, go up under it like that. We're going to pull it tight until that stitch is there. And we're going to work that stitch right in the middle. Perfect, right? Then we're going to do a ladder stitch is what it's called. Ladder stitch is pretty good for pillows. And what that means is you ain't got two, you got your two things here. You're going to go in on this angle like this. You're going to catch a stitch. Make sure it's a nice small one. And you're going to come in the same hole and out the same side. Like that. You're going to kind of do like a... You'll pull it tight like that. Just look up ladder stitch. And there's a lady on there. If I can remember the video, I can put it on there and it'll show you how to do it. And it'll hide a good... It's a good way to hide a stitch. Works good for puppet making too. Ow. Stuck my finger. You can also use a thimble.
Alrighty, and at this point all I'm doing is trimming off that lip that we had a little bit of excess. Nothing too serious there, just make sure you don't trim it too close to the actual stitch or you may pull it out.
Well guys, there you have it. We have finished up, and if you would like to win this, you could just comment below where you set your hearth to, whether it be in World of Warcraft or in the real world if you don't play World of Warcraft anymore. Would it be Canada? Would it be the UK? Would it be Paris? Would you set it to Alabama? That's terrible. Don't set it to Alabama. I want my hearth to change. I just got to get to another end. But guys, I appreciate every bit. If you want to go to Twitter and Facebook, I'll be giving away the other one. And of course the little small one, if you want the little small one, on my Facebook and Twitter, whichever one. And maybe a little contest there with some fun photoshopping or Microsoft Paint stuff. I don't know. So it's just something fun to do. So you have, if you're art inclined, get your art chops ready because you may be utilizing them to entertain me, and if you do, then I'll give you the other one. I do appreciate you guys watching the video. If it helped you, please hit the thumbs up, and share it, of course, with crafty people. And if you yourself make one and skip out on the contest, then of course let me know. Tweet me a picture or Facebook me a picture of what you built. If you did a pink one, do a pink one. If you do a pink one, let me see, because I really would like to see what that looks like the girl one, because I could see like a guy one, girl one. I think that would be kind of cool, like on a bed for a gaming couple. That'd be pretty neat. Of course, if you make a video, do a video response. And if you have a video of something crafty you've done that isn't like this, do video responded. I would love more than anything to see your crafty greatness. And I'm sure the rest of you who are watching this video, look below in the video response section. If there's some video responses there, feel free to go check them out because they were awesome enough to submit them for your approval. So might as well go over there and see what they got. Y'all guys take care. I really am thankful you watched the video. And I hope you win. Good luck. Good luck, weary traveler. Maybe I shouldn't be rubbing my beard all over this. I mean, it's going to make it go up in value. I mean, you can wash it. That's the wall, isn't it?